Okay, today let's spend some time to think through how Google is doing, right? Gemini 3.0, upcoming is 3.5. Really quite a breakthrough, right? Integrated together the nano banana, anti-gravity, notebook LM, it, and others, right? They're wonderful canvas, right? A lot of breakthrough that see that it's not really individually but together, collaborative. Right? At least on the surface, right? It can search, sifting through, layers and layers, a ton of stuff on the web, on YouTube, right? Like who is behind it, right? Who made it kind of possible, right? So I think one of the individuals, right? One of the minds, would be Denis, right? Hassabis, right? I think the other could be an illusion, but Eric, right, came to the shows and talks, right? Kind of, it's like he was one of the co-founders of Google, right? It's kind of hard to see that Google is falling behind, into the irrelevance in the AI era. I think he stepped up. That's the great and brave step to take, right? In his stature, right, he could, easily retire and care. But, this is kind of a person, it's a passion, right? Want to see through what he started. That we need to respect, right? But 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 Dennis, right, win the Nobel Prize, right, turned the AI into the scientific research, right? AlphaGo and DeepMind, the chess, and so on. And I believe the Gemini thing, I haven't really got too deep into it, right? I need to investigate a bit further, right? And see how much a role that he has been playing in the creation of the Gemini, right? It seems everywhere, right? It's kind of good, right? I like that. And I think many people love to see more to come, right? And the question is, how did Google come by, right? At the same time, I don't think Azure or Microsoft or OpenAI, all the others like AWS, is supposed to be significant or growth, right? Not so much so, at least not touching the public in a day-to-day kind of use, right? Just look at the share kind of subscription and revenue that they're accumulating, right? It's quite impressive. However, this is maybe the surface, right? And pretty soon, Meta is going to catch up. OpenAI going to throw the face in. Elon Musk, of course, is not going to falling behind. He's going to catch up very soon. What about Microsoft? Microsoft, I think the problem is that they kind of pretended to be smart, right? They have a lot of strategies. Right? They speak so fluently, but what are they achieving? I don't know. Yet to see, maybe they need a man like Denis to drive through, right? You cannot just have so many rapid talks, right? It's not a show. It's science, right? It's business. It's not a talk party, right? In any case, that's the comment besides. But we're going to look into it. They have a lot of really fundamental, like achievement. I have to give the kudos there. Not try to criticize anybody, but just thinking, right, in terms of AI and robotic agentics. I don't think. I think at least Google is coming out ahead, right? The frontier models, right? I've been trying many of them, but it's not everyone. But I think this Gemini and Google put together, this suite of tools works good, right? At least for some simple tasks. And I'm not a scientist, right? Not getting into the labs and using the whatever the model they produce to do biological or neural kind of study of brain tumors kind of thing, right? But I believe, according to what I heard, chemistry, physics, so many stuff, right? On the medical side, they're using the DeepMind kind of produced models and to do that. But that's a huge breakthrough to say that. Really should be encouraged a lot. Right? Now, okay, before we get lost, let's dive into it, right? So where should we start? Okay, why don't we start with this one? Okay, right, the DeepMind dilemma, right? The promise and peril of solving intelligence. True, I mean, from the entangling of this looks like proteins going nowhere or everywhere, right? DNA kind of stuff, right? They become neural networks, right? I think fundamentally we need to answer what intelligence is, right? What is it? And that's a question for another day. But let's look at what Denis has been doing, right? Very quickly, right? The mission began with a unique blueprint for intelligence. Yeah, what is intelligence? I don't want to recall his kind of personal thing, right? Gaming prodigy, right? 17, a computer scientist, and in Cambridge, and cognitive neuroscientist, got a PhD, and University College London. Yeah, I know that place really well. I've worked through it thousands of times, right? A lot of smart people there. I never recall that I met this guy, even I did, probably he's too young, right, for me to recognize. His postdoctorate at MIT, and then Harvard, right? And then that's I quoting the Nobel Prize interview, right? The reason I've worked on AI my whole life is that I'm passionate about science and finding out knowledge, and I've always thought if we could build AI in the right way, it could be the ultimate tool to help scientists help us all explore the universe around us. I hope AlphaFold is the first example of that. I think that's it's used for the scientific study, right? I think the vision is good to create a new interdisciplinary approach to accelerate the field, bring together new ideas and advances in the machine learning, neuroscience, engineering, mathematics, simulation, and computing infrastructure, right? I certainly encourage my children get into this field. It's pretty fascinating, right? And I'd say that I remember that a couple of weeks ago, right, in Young LeCun openly in the interview, right? It's not deliberately, probably saying that give it 5-10 years, the AI not even match the intelligence of a dog, right? AGI is just the first, right? It's not, but I think on next, right, at least Denis commentary on that didn't really agree. I think, AGI is quite achievable. Just really, quite a debate there. And Elon Musk joined, obviously, aligned with Denis more than Professor Young LeCun, right? But again, I wouldn't say Professor Young LeCun is wrong, right? He just have a different view. So he might have a different brilliant thoughts, right, approach. And he, the real take is that, prove it, right? Start up something, you get plenty of people to support you, a lot of money you can use. Prove Well, if you think you are good, prove it, right? Why you need zero? That you can demonstrate. Don't just talk, right? Talk is kind of not cheap, but doing it is harder, right? Anyway, that's beyond the point. We keep thinking like, what are really the promise? What are the pros? What is intelligence, AGIs? Those are the questions, right? But how much Google has been contributing, right? I think Google struggled a bit, right? This I've been following through, right? They are behind the curve in terms of the Google Cloud, but they're brilliant. They contribute a lot, right? Especially in the BigQuery, kind of thing, big data, Kubernetes, right? You name it. Machine learning part is brilliant, right? They have a lot of good asset contributions to the community, right? And made some of those open source, right? But none really compared to the DeepMind. It's through acquisition, I believe, when they got into Google, right? I believe Fei Li is also initially part of Google. Right? I don't know why she left, right? Any case, Google is a big company. They have given opportunity for many of these a really brilliant man, high-profile scientist, right? That's incredible, right? Now, hopefully, the DeepMind is going to push them at least the market gain, right? Recoup some of the investment. I haven't checked the numbers, the financial statement. I didn't read it, right? I don't know what is the fourth quarter earnings there, but I believe it's good, right? It's much, attribute to the Gemini, probably this person that we're looking at, right? We can find it out for sure. All right, the grand challenge, the 50-year problem at the heart of the biology, amino acid sequence. It's very interesting, right? How the proteins eventually come to this 3D structure, right? Is that magic? Is that a God's finger in it, right? Or what is it? Is the AI can untangle that? Decipher that? Given the permutations, right? Without AI, without machine learning, it's hard to really make progress that we can make this AI, right? That is the power, right? I think maybe that's AlphaFold, right? So what is the problem there? The proteins are building blocks, right? That's true. Underpinning the process, biological process, right? This complex 3D structure, 50 years predictions, what structure and sequence amino acid was, right? You remember that? We do that mapping of chromosome and other kind of stuff, right? DNA test. It's all to do with sequencing and structure and, entangling stuff, right? It's quite a mystery, right? It's amazing that we all have that magic inside ourselves and played it out a billion times a day, right? Think about it. I don't know, it's a brain thing, right? We didn't really think how we're going to make a liver, using our proteins, a DNA. I don't think so. It is something that more magical, right? Is that magical? It is the mathematical. Yet to see, right? Hopefully the AlphaFold can decipher that, right? Unfold the thing, right? The human scale of the problem, by the time and the cost, right? How many years we have to invest to really untangle that sequence, right? Like dancing of the stars in a galaxy, right? So the bottleneck severely limited the pace of biological research and drug discovery. Okay. So what are the results, right? In 2020, AlphaFold solved the problem, really, with remarkable accuracy. Oh yeah, partial, right? The benchmark, right? The 14th critical assessment of that, it's called CASP, AlphaFold 2 won by a huge margin, right? any case, those are the old stories. I don't have to quote it again. The impact, right? What took us months and years to do, AlphaFold was able to do it in a weekend. Professor John McLean, a former director for the Center of some sort of ease and innovation, right? Yeah, it could be true, right? It is accelerated, the research process, right? Scientific process, right? And the ultimate validation in October 9, 2024, Denis Hassabis and John Jemper were awarded the Nobel Prize in chemistry for their work in. That's incredible, right? Deserve that for sure. The breakthrough created a ripple effect across the global scientific community. Democratizing access. DeepMind reviewed that. Oh, okay. So yeah, it really just gives some numbers and facts, right? Stats, right? But there are it's ambitious, but there are also reality, right? The public health, right? Is breaking, right? The Google DeepMind and Royal Free London NHS Foundation Trust, right? They have a partnership. They develop streams of mobile apps to help the clinicians to detect acute kidney injury early, right? Well, I think that's great, but I've yet to find out what a real progress there. Okay, so that always been a legal process in it, right? Some sort of governance, right? Yeah, any case, we're going to break something, we're going to fix something, right? Because you're moving so fast. Right? That's true, right? Now, a closer look at the cascade of governance failure. This proportionate data scope, unsound legal basis, lack of transparency in regulatory void. These are all true, right? Lack of transparency. How transparent do we want to be, right? Why they don't want to make it transparent, right? What data they collected based on a way to claim, right? We can exaggerate, for sure. What is the legal basis? The project relied on the implied consent of the direct care. Oh, does it have to be explicit? Maybe, right? We leave that to the lawyers, right? Again, the ICO, Information Commissioner Office, right? 2017 ruling, is failed to comply. Okay, that's fine, right? Maybe we'll find another opportunity, right? And the experience prompt is starkly different approach in subsequent partnership, right? Of course, you have to adapt, right? They have a partnership with Moorfield Eye Hospital, 2016, where they are formal research partnership has to be in a contract, right? Patient engagement, I guess explicit consent is required, right? Some landmark research paper and successful model for future collaboration. Oh, it's good, right? So, in short, the DeepMind has consolidated to become the engine of the Google's AI strategy, right? Started from 2018, we have paved the ground that how they come through in health, right, in the UK, right? And in 2023, the Google Brain started, right? And 2024, developer focused team like AI Studios, I use it, and the Gemini API I use as well, folded into DeepMind, right? 2025 will continue, right? Google AI. Well, this is fantastic, right? The Google CEO, Sandra Pichai, very handsome gentleman, right? Very capable as well, in a way. Oh, the strategic shift is designed to accelerate progress and deployment. We need to move faster as a company. The stake high. All right, now I guess, well, they continued the success and come to today. The next frontier is simulating the world. Oh, maybe that's what I call it as the world models, right? Beyond the language models. Oh, that's good. I think Fifi Lee would love to see that, and Professor Lacombe, also a big fan of this, I guess, right? The Denis, in a way that it is, I would, love to say, I prefer. If you give an opportunity, don't complain, right? Don't just point theoretically, right, this and that. Just do it if you have the, opportunity. Okay, prove to the world that whatever your theory is, right? Okay, what are the world models? Okay, AI system that build on the internal simulation of the physical. NVIDIA also has that, right? They have a digital twin or something, right? Factory, the physical environment, right? They use that to simulate. They also do some synthetic sort of training ground for those autonomous machines and cars and robots and so on and so forth, right? That's incredible innovation, right? Quite a breakthrough. But now, if we have the world model, I remember Fifth Lee also done a demonstration of how they can do that, right? Create a sort of real world. It's not a game. It's more like if not there, it's not there. You have to interact. It's created right away, right? Based on your intelligence, right? Your interaction. That's what kind of different from, you have to pre-build blocks like some games, right? This is not a game. This is AI, right? These world models, right? The causative and effect of the mechanics of the world, intuitive physics, but how things move, how things behave. That's a world in motion, right? It's multimodal, multisensory, right? I don't know, like they always build the world models. What about the consciousness models, right? Have they really equal that intelligence to conscious? Are we really looking at the same thing or two things, or entirely two things, right? There are some fundamental questions. The world is totally physical. Is that really true? I'm deep into the Buddhism kind of thing, right? And it's not religion, but the study of life. Right? There are a lot of different theories, right? And people have practiced thousands of years, right? You cannot rigidly say what you do is sense, others doing or not. That the superstitions may not be, right? You eventually probably meet in the middle ground or get into the same playground, right? You never know. Maybe AI is another approach. Try to learn, right? Not everything is physical as you understand the physics, right? It could be different, but beyond your comprehension, right? You can choose not to believe it, but you cannot deny they exist, right? Well, that's beyond the point. We can look into that later on, right, in another talk, right? This is critical for understanding the spatial dynamic and the physical context. It cannot be fully captured in text, right? Okay. What are the video, multimodal data, AI system, that's training part, robotics control, scientific simulation, interactive environments. What is driving this vision, view? Oh, view is I think is that something to do with Nano Banana. View is more generative model for high quality, right? Jenny, the fundamental models can generate interactive, playable 2D world. This information is slightly old, right? So, we believe scaling, pretending, video and multimodal data is on the critical path to artificial general intelligence. Okay, this is where the artificial general intelligence. Yeah, I mean, quoting like in the X Twitter debate, right? Denis argued, "Oh, humans has general AGI kind of because the hunters and gatherers, right? They making a fire, but eventually they can doing computers and AI. Don't that prove that sufficiently prove that we have general like AGI as a human being? Maybe I think that's a logically not very tight argument, but it's a plausible, right? It is making a good, catchy kind of certainly going to invoke a lot of invite a lot of tweets, right? That's good. Maybe that's why. The path forward is the tension, right? Tension, gets to the topic, right? What is it? Like internal hurdles, right? The external pressures. A lot of things do use of dilemma, right? Eric, I put Eric high on the chart. That I think he played a pivotal role in the turning the Google from falling behind to quite a success right now, right through the last 3 years or so, right? Eric said the one that I particularly worried about is biological. You take some existing passages and using biological techniques, you can modify it enough that it cannot be deleted, detected, but it's still quite dangerous. That's true, right? You play with life, it's always quite dangerous. Any case, but on the other side, it proves how capable these AI can be, right? Look at these neurons, right? It's like, we are living in a time of great historical consequence, right? I according to Eric, right, firmly believe that the arrival of non-human intelligence, well, robotic beings, that's the term that I gave, right? And very soon is already get into blended in the fabric workforce, right? It's what he said is the arrival of the non-human intelligence at the level of electricity or the invention of fire. Next 10 years, a couple of decades, probably the time that we will have a greater determination over the next 100 years than anything before, because the invention, these new tools, the countries and companies that embrace this non-human intelligence, AI, and correctly and aggressively will be the big winners, and the companies slow or lose. That I deeply believe. The story of Google DeepMind gave Denis, a nickname, Sir Gemini, right? Not sure it's a compliment, right? It doesn't mean anything. My apologies if you find it offensive, right? But it's not just about one company. It is a microcosm of humanity's journey into a new era, a path defined by both incredible premise and profound power. Right? That's true. Right? Before we get too deep, let's think through a bit, right? What we set out to do is not to criticize anybody, right? Or kind of praise or please anybody. That's not what we try to do, right? We try to piece together how Google and DeepMind, Gemini turned around from quite a struggle, falling behind, right? When the OpenAI introduced ChatGPT, right? And Google kind of scrambled a bit, right? And that's where Eric jumped in, and then I think the push, the man behind it is really Denis, right? A bunch of brilliant minds there, right? I mean, obviously that's beyond me. I don't know. I'm not there, right? So, but what will be the next step, right, for Google, right? Obviously, the other competitors going to catch up. what the real stuff that Denis and Eric and the team in Google is going to really show us, right? Take for example the Gemini, right? I tried it. It like notebook LLM and banana, nano banana, Canva, and anti-gravity via a bunch of tools, right? They're wonderful tools, but again, it's quite superficial. For example, when you say, I'm going to watch the video and summarize, they really read the transcript, I guess, right? The caption somehow, not really watching the video, right? Now, the other side of it, the coding, the approach, I forgot what is their browser, Disco or something. It's quite different from like OpenAI approach, right? Atlas, I believe that's the brand name, and from Perplexity, all kind of interesting. Got into the browser war. I think that's going probably nowhere, right? I think Google's approach is quite eye-opening, right? They really using AI to generate the front end, right? The macro front end is kind of technology. We can compose them together. Really a small application, if you will, just totally individualized, spontaneously to that moment, right? And you can, distract it afterwards. Thinking of miners, right? They have a machine, right? Why don't you give it a machine as well? It's on the cloud anyway, right? You can allocate a virtual machine, allow it to run for that moment, and then distract it. Obviously, the cost associated with it potentially going to be high initially, but later on, that's manageable, right? And what's important is the innovation, the breakthrough, a new way of engineer that experience, right? Enter the AI world, if you will, right? There's a part, I think, competitor of notebook LLM, right, was in Notion. Right? I think the founder and CEO, I forgot his name. Apologies there. Said, well, we're like looking at the rear mirror, right, to driving the AI kind of vehicle, right? It's a car, right? Like we're not really looking at the AI from the right angle. Right? We probably should build a lot of new capacities for the AI, for the AI era. Right? You're not going to try to like who said it? Steve Jobs, right? He said, well, the internet is a bicycle, or whatever, the accelerating the thought, right? But now AI is a high-speed train. How are you going to ride the bicycle to catch up, right? The internet era is gone, and it's not gone, but it's probably falling behind, right? We'll have to think more openly, right? What is the future, right? We need some really brilliant minds, right? Brave people, right? Think different, innovative, right? Maybe Denis is one of them. But we need more. Right? We need probably 10 also big players can stimulate the community. But eventually, millions of engineers we need to, recruit to make it happen. Right? It's not like I think Sam Altman said, right? Science is one thing, and technology is another, but engineering will make it happen. Right? Yeah, I mean, true, right? You have to have, like, even AI, like Meta has, right? You have to give it hands and, make it walk and have eyes and ears, right? You think of how we humans kind of function in the world. It's not like in a baby kind of stage, right? Like AI we're in right now. In order to get food, like milk, you have to cry, right? But you don't have to always cry if you're already 20, right? You go out and grab a bottle and drink whatever you like to drink. But AI is the same thing, right? AI should give in, under supervision, some sort of permission, right? To go out and do things, right? Other than, oh, here's a chat window, right? You ask a question, you answer, question, answer, like a spoon feeding kind of stuff, right? But that's kind of funny, right? But we have to take baby steps for sure, but we cannot always take baby steps. We have to step forward, with a bit of courage, right? Some sort of breakthrough must occur, I think, hopefully in 2026. Meaning, how do we use AI? How do we interact with AI? Right? Do we really have to use like a chat window or some sort of UI thing? Can we not talk to the AI directly? If directly, oh, some may argue we already can't. Well, yeah, it's still in the internet, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking, right? It's not, it's kind of painful to see how slow we're moving, right? Although we're making like bounds and leaps through to some, but still kind of slow, right? Okay, let's see how, if Denis is going to help us a bit more, right? And see what is next steps in Google, for example. And I'm pretty sure, as I said, right, others like OpenAI, hopefully Elon Musk, the NVIDIA, and Meta, and even Microsoft, right, gonna come up, right, compete, right, present your case, right, take bold steps, do something, right, show us how good they are, right. Unfortunately, like, I don't know, I might, look into Oracle. It's an interesting company, right? It's a powerful company, right? But painfully to say that, we're going to not divert too much attention. But where is IBM, by the way, right? Where is it? I don't know. Is it bankrupted or what? Like, what innovation has IBM had, right? I don't know. It used to be a very formidable and respectful corporation, right? It used to be my home as well, right? I don't know what are they doing, right? I don't know. Like, I think maybe 20 years ago, again, in my words, right, be a little sarcastic, right? There are a bunch of people pretend to be smart. They run the company this way, that way. Eventually, it's very destructive, right? That pretentiousness, right? That showman kind of thing kills real innovation, kills real like science, right? You cannot bluff your way. You cannot fool everybody all the time, right? I guess, the stock market will teach you a lesson, right? But in any case, that's beyond the point. Let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. Next step in intelligence. Okay. We believe AI will be the most beneficial technology ever, and we'll be able to use it to cure diseases and find new energies. Oh, that's good. Who said it? I think it is Denis. Oh, a prodigy, game designer, neuroscientist. Smiling guy. Okay, epiphany at the grandmaster level. Yeah, I remember, even more stunning, the Go game, right? AlphaGo, right? And then see AlphaGo 2016, and AlphaFold, won the Nobel Prize, and then Google DeepMind, Google Brain, right? Well, where do you have the Google hands, right? Or Google eyes? Do you have that? Soon, I guess, right? The Gemini architecture. Yeah, I believe that of that thought, probably DeepMind that is behind it, right? It's natively multimodal, efficient and capable of thinking. Okay. Sparse mixture of experts. I believe the sparse could be learned from DeepSeek, right? Gemini models are an MLE, right, architect instead of activating the entire network, every task, the constellation of parameters and tokens, right? Solely intelligently routes inputs into a specialized subset, like how we use our brain. We don't fire up the whole brain. We just use a little bit of that, right? Of expert allows the massive model scale while keeping the computation per token efficiency, right? I mean, lately I read a paper called Intent Space or something, right? It's quite interesting. Is it from DeepSeek again? They have the multi-fold hyper connection thing, right? And then sparse attention. Those are the true innovations that I love to see, right? You can put into practice, put into the engineering part. Then that's what really produce some sort of breakthroughs, right? And the native multimodality, or whole modality, right? Whatever you call it, but from the ground up to understand process information seamlessly, right? I used to do a bit of research, a lot of research, text as data. Now, have AI, they say that, but still the natural language process is kind of sound, right? Like the convolutional neural networks, right? But that's still good, but I don't know if you need to invest too much time there. It's a lot more to learn. Don't waste your time unless you want to be a scientist, right? Or you get a PhD degree or something, right? Focus on what the action part. What can you do? Like do it, right? Doing it, learning, right? That's the best way. Just grab what you need. Nowadays, learning is kind of so convenient, right? It's really the passion driving, right? How much time you have, right? Do not waste a minute, right? That's my advice, right? Just do it. Okay? It doesn't translate between modalities. It comprehends them together. Well, that's incredible, right? Well, the power of thinking is still kind of 2.5. 3, maybe a little more advanced, right? You have whatever that is, right? Let's move forward, right? Okay, this is way more complex, and I need to read through. Believe this eventually the 5 leaps in data coding. Okay, mathematics, right? Everybody try to claim that they're doing so well. The entire book and hours of videos in a single prompt, right? Yeah, I tried it. It's able to handle like some PDF things, right? That's quite impressive. I used to read the kind of shrinked, if you will, abridged kind of Roman history, right? Because I try to search for something. It literally, get it in a few minutes, right? That's incredible. Right? Then, fold inclusive. It's very hard for the robots, right? Really, what it demonstrates is the power, right? And here it is, the pixels, Pokemon, okay, whatever that is, right? Okay, here's the holy crap and me, Eric, right? After witnessing an AI system autonomously generate an entire software program, Eric said, it's profound, right? I've been doing programming for 55 years, well, that proves you're not very young anymore, right? I see the wrinkles and wisdom there. A lot of respect. Nope. No anything that criticism there. I see something start laying in front of your own life. It's really profound. What is that? Okay. Leading AI labs and AI systems already performing 10, 20. Yeah, even more, right? But you need to be an architect, in my opinion, right? You cannot just be. You have to still using that engineering principles and architectures. You really have to drive the AI in a way, right, before it can drive you. Because there are a lot of regulatory controls, right? There are a lot of policies and privacy concerns. You cannot just let it go, at least not now. Okay, let's see the EDI again. C. Well, programming, photography, data science, media, public relations, law, health. Where is finance? Right? That's what I love to see. Finance, law, medicals, right? That's what I love to see, right? Because that's what I'm practicing a bit. It is the first tool, right? Well, let's see. Frontier level capability requires a framework for safety. Yeah, cyber. Yeah, that's fine. I mentioned it. Frontier safety framework, right? Like sovereignty cloud kind of framework and MD research. Okay, what is this? Quantifying the risks. So look at the cyber. Okay, wow, that's interesting. You can quantify that. What I'm looking for is explainability for auditors and regulators, right? Whatever you do, don't do it in a black box way, like a miracle. Explain it to them, right? Really, not just try to, like right now, every LLM give you kind of steps breakdown. That's not a real explanation. Right? You have to provide me this evidence that if I want to double check, I can, right? Step by step. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, if nobody do it, we're gonna do it, right? So the sense this automate application. Okay, yeah, I believe so. Right? If we can solve the mystery of life, that's good enough, right? Think of it as smart tool. It will unleash the true potential of human ingenuity. For us, being able to draw on a kind of smart tools to help us in the science of medicine. Okay, that's fantastic, right? Okay, approaching an hour. I think we might need to close it, wrap it up soon, right? But for sure, we're going to continue. Today is really on Google DeepMind, taking Denis and Sir Gemini as quoting, and Eric. I believe these two individuals are the minds, the leaders of the minds that push the Google come out the ditch and become quite a success, at least financially, right? Demonstrated capability. But how long can it hold the turf, right? I don't know. Like people are coming up, others competitors coming up so aggressive. Right? Let's see. Let's wrap it up, okay? Okay. We're gonna spend some time after the Google to look at how OpenAI, like Sam Altman folks are doing. Right? We're gonna group together these answers. I think they belong together, right? But before that, let's wrap up on the Google side, right? Let's see. Okay, the AI strategic briefing from grand vision to ground reality. So, one of the key interests is that I love to see that not only the consumer market, but also the business part, the enterprise, right? So, the manufacturing, the service sector, the financial institutions, the law offices. Obviously, they're already there, but again, let's see how they can. Who is going to winning that? I think OpenAI and Anthropic, and they're all competing online. Not sure how Google get into. There's different world. I'd say that I have different dynamics. That's really majorly my interest, especially the financials and law and the intersection there, regulatory compliance. To some extent, for my children study the medical, right, health science, right, in general, it's quite fascinating, right? Okay, so Denis, right, interdisciplinary, right? With neuroscience, and got a PhD, and some breakthrough and a Nobel Prize, and started from prodigy in the game, right? Well, ADI horizon, right? A model can achieve good model level performance in the International Mathematics Olympiad. Yeah, that same model can still make avoidable mistakes in high school level. Oh, okay, sure, right? The stated mission of leading lab like Google DeepMind is to do AGI, right? Just 1 second. Sorry, I had to run to catch my phone. Let's continue. We're gonna wrap up soon, right? Talk about AGI kind of stuff, right? And here's the man again. We come to Gemini 3.5. Oh, the practice. That's what I'm interested in. How Morgan Stanley is transforming the world's management with AI. Okay. But I need to dig into, right? The document retrieval using AI. It's certainly so, right? Just wonder what the base model are using OpenAI. Okay. How do they do that? We're going to look into OpenAI for sure. I don't know what are the risks there, the downside of it. The advantage I see, right, is powerful LLM, right? You might have to deploy inside the bank, right? How do you really manage the fine-tuning part? Or what if they had a new version? What are they going to do? Do you have their engineer sitting with you? Or in any case, what are the kind of risks there that we need to dig it out, right? Okay, it's quite impressive, right? Efficiency increased from 20 to 80%. Okay, the Morgan Stanley playbook. That's what I really love to see. I'm not sure Google can grab some part of it or have already, but I'm certainly very excited to see that. The 3-pillar thing, rigorous evaluation framework, right, is methodical, right? Purposely built. Okay. AI at Morgan Stanley Assistant, internal co-pilot, right, from OpenAI, powered by OpenAI. I think maybe partnered with Azure. I don't know what they're using, right? The summary, okay, that's easy, right? They research, okay. It's okay, it's a good start, and as an early adapter, it's not really, but what technology, the turning the people's mind is hard, right? It's like dragging the train to a different track, right? That's what really you need to focus on, right? Evaluation framework. Okay, we're going to look into that for sure. And beyond enterprise, AI tackles the grand scientific challenge. Okay, we'll look into that. Right, the National Science and Genesis mission, and okay, medicals, and yeah, that's what I'm looking at, right? The Azure, AWS, and Google, right? Any other, like Alibaba has a cloud. It's kind of confined in China, right? I don't know if NVIDIA is going to come out with a cloud, right? I don't know. Elon is a cloud guy. He probably have more ambitions. Kind of cloud is a long-term infrastructure kind of backbone thing, right? I don't know. He's that patient. Okay, the kind of comparison, right? Google AI, Azure, Bedrock, and Vortex. Right? Google have a lot of things. They need to really unify the brand, otherwise it becomes confusing, right? I mean, my opinion, right? Amazon, Bedrock, and all right, platform architecture, API, right? Model access, how large the context windows stuff, right? Anthropic, Meta, Mistral, right? They allow that garden, right? AWS obviously have more. They have Cohere, Amazon Titan, believe DeepSeek is also there, and Queen. Key differentiator, okay, flexibility and simplicity. That's on the AWS side. I love their model. They have a solid product design kind of philosophy there and practice, obviously. I think Andy is the CEO. Yeah, I think he's a fantastic man, right? Capable. driving through that. But lately, they laid off a lot of workers, the employees. I don't know. Maybe we need to find out because of AI, because of using AI as an excuse. I don't know. All right, the other side, the GitHub, that I use it. But sometimes they give you out-of-date kind of information. It's not that flexible, but I use it quite a lot. I hope it can be better, right? I don't know how in the coding part maybe powerful, but I don't really trust that, right? Because in an enterprise environment, it's not because you're capable, you're allowed to run wild. That's even more risky, right? Okay, data first AI. Data is a forever kind of beast we need to tame, right? Maybe that's a good start. I think that's a good differentiator, right? Again, seems to me there's brilliance in thinking there from Google, right? All right, now they have compliance, AWS, HAPA, all that stuff, right? Multi-vendor, multi-cloud, no, multi-vendor, right? The organization, I think Salesforce is probably on AWS, right? A lot. Let me on that. Organization standardized OpenAI, they're drawn together. Right? I think I should get into that a bit more. Data-intensive enterprise aiming to build customer model and run AI directly in large-scale analytical pipelines, right? Manufacturing, logistics, kind of. The economics of enterprise, comparative cost analysis, right? Okay, I'm not, at 3, CloudWatch, Lambda, cognitive search, data fabrics, and boundary, and orchestration, BigQuery. I think Google is winning out, probably falling behind previously, but it's going to come out. I really hope that they somehow unify the product brand name. It's kind of confusing, right? Any case, I'll investigate a bit further now. Prompt routing and kind of Google is kind of a disadvantage, right? Not like AWS and Azure, they are kind of integrated deeply in most of the enterprises, like Fortune 500, right? They're coming up aggressively, gaining some market share, but again, kind of small, right, in terms of the cloud, right? The pragmatic navigating the regulatory, that's fantastically to the point. Regulators are not creating new rules. They should, that they should create new rules. They are applying existing compliance. I think they should, but they're not up to speed, right? It's a neutral. It's not neutral. FINRA or SEC made it clear that are fully responsible. That's true, right? The firms will be fully, but it should be a shared risk model, right? The vendors should also be part of it, right? But again, the regulators will hold whoever is using that financial service institution, for example, right? Supervision require supervise all activity. Commercial owner demand high ethical standard, AI-driven activities, bias, right? That kind of stuff. Regulations, data protection, right? AI system processing personal information must comply with. It's interesting, but this is only in the US. What about the Europe and Asia and Middle East, right? The bottom line is that the firms deploying AI without robust governance frameworks, audit trails, and explainability are gambling with their regulatory standards. True, right? Here's the black box, right? Input, output, explainability, right? That's the forever challenge, right? Regulatory expectation, right? They require the model explainability, the top focus, and then they must also explain all the AI-driven recommendations to both customers and regulators and demand. And SEC actively review all our AI model validation, data governance, and supervisory controls in the examination. Right, the output required framework, detailed inventory, parallel testing, performance benchmark, human review. Okay, human in a loop, right? The primary risks, right, deploying AI is the black box nature of many advanced models, right? Cannot fully explain. And I mean, even I say what I'm saying right now, can I fully explain why I said exactly each word in that sequence? I don't. I cannot. Just said it, right? So probing for failure, the science of AI, red teaming. Red teaming is a structured process using people or other AI systems to explore a new model's potential risks and failure models. Modes before deployment. Oh, that's interesting. That combine both external human experts and automated methods to discover vulnerability. Yeah. The process, external human red teaming involves automated. Yeah, it's like automated test, right? And key limitation, relevance over time, and not a complete solution without that it's going to be relevant, for full-fledged thing, maybe a snapshot of that and spot checking, right? Information hazards, the process can uncover new dangerous techniques that should be, could misuse. It's not handled right, but human sophistication as AI advances lack the expertise to really understand and judge and really monitor that, right? It's not even able to catch up, right? But here we are, right? Result in now, right? The path forward. We have to balance the unprecedented opportunity with profound responsibility. Thinking of the AI as your partner, right? In a way, right? It empowers you, give you a lot of capability. But again, anything goes wrong, you are the one who are accountable. Like you, the human, right? But for now, at least we have to live in that fact. Right? So, the journey from the grand vision of AGI, to the ground reality of enterprise deployment reveals a powerful dualism, right? The technology has the potential to solve humanity's most complex problem and create trillions in economic value. Yet the path is fraught with challenges, for sure. From the intelligence and like a jigsaw, right? Like a saw, right? The intelligence is not even. It could be like solving PhD level conundrums, mathematically speaking, but also fail the junior high kind of mathematical test. Ironically, the critical need of governance, safety, and ethical oversight, where the fundamental task for leaders is not merely to adapt AI, but to steward its development responsibility, right? Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority, alongside other societal scale kind of risks, such as pandemics and nuclear wars. Oh my God, that's said by Denis. Kudos, Denis. All said, right? The ultimate measure of the how we harness AI's power while ensuring these capabilities remain reliable, safe, and beneficial for humanity. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up today. We introduced Denis, Sir Gemini, in my words, right? So this is great. I mean, this is fantastic. Okay. I give credit to Eric as well. I think these two gentlemen here are probably behind the scenes, right? I'm pretty sure there are a lot of brilliant minds and team of engineers, 100,000, tens of thousands, be pushing that, right? From the bottom to the winner line, right? Okay, so all right, we're gonna come back for sure. Right? the reason we build up such a state is that therefore we can make sense of them, right? We can observe them in a context, in a stage, right? That's what we're building, right? It's gonna take me some time. We don't really have much time, right, to build it up, but we're getting there, right? So be patient. Thank you for that. And, subscribe. I don't know if I should encourage you. At least I need to see some comments so therefore I can improve a bit, right? What you like, what you don't like. Thank you for all of that, right?
对酒当歌，人生几何？譬如朝露去日苦。